Yo, what's good, YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with the ITL, and we have the semifinals where we've got the Montreal Monfernos taking on Marin Varin, who has advanced from the quarterfinals to take on Sebi. So, Sebi is OP Dragonite, and Marin Varin, obviously, the Marin Varin on screen. And yeah, so this is semifinals, and the winner is going to be going to the finals, so let's get into it. Marin Varin's brought Licky Licky, Weavile, Rotom Wash, Cobalion, Victini, Zygarde, and Sebi has brought Celesteela, Hydreigon, Moltres, Mega Alakazam, big fan of that, Tangrowth, and the Gigalith. So, so Sebi's only got one rocker in his Gigalith, and Marion's able to match up well versus that with a couple of his mons. So Sebi decides to lead off with Moltres, which would have led off well versus Marin's only rocker also. So it's a pretty nice lead for Sebi, except versus Rotom Wash, it's kind of tough. However, this I think is a Z move user and could pack the Bloom Doom and potentially blow back the Rotom on turn one here. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I'm super hyped for this match. Sebi's one of my best buds in the community and one of my favorite battlers to watch. My humble opinion, he's one of the best. And Marin Baron has been hyped up a lot, and I'm a big fan of his this season, despite some of my Scott takes, that's for sure. However, he has had some hot sets on there though. So, getting back into the match here, some potential win conditions. Depending on sets, Mega Alakazam could be fantastic. I know like Choice Scarf, um, Weavile, and Victini could be problematic, but Mega Alakazam looks fantastic outside of Weavile and the Victini, which both are heavily crippled by Stealth Rocks. Nothing wants to come in on Mega Alakazam, Psychics, and then Mega Alakazam can easily run something like Shadow Ball and Hidden Power Fighting. And keys to victory for Marin Varin may be that Zygarde 50% itself. So, uh, Sebi lands the Toxic, and Marin lands a Thunder Wave, and then Marin switches out into the Licky Licky as Moltres roost up, probably predicting a Volt Switch and wanting to recover the damage, that it would take from the Volt Switch there, get back to full, or however, 50% back. I don't know if it revealed. No, it hasn't revealed any items, so he could go for Toxic here. Now, I'm not sure if this is a Z move user. I was just guessing off the top of my head. I'm not sure. So what comes in on the Licky Licky, or does the Moltres just click Toxic here? And what does Marin do? Potentially just throw off a Heal Bell. There we go. I was going to say throw off a Wish, but it does throw off the Heal Bell. And Sebi gets paralyzed, fully parried on this turn. A little bit unfortunate. I don't think. Oh man, that's a little bit unfortunate as well. Moltres not being able to get off a move 2 turns in a row. Very, very unfortunate. Potential Toxics as well, which would have been nice versus the Licky Licky and the Rotom Wash, forcing the Hill Bells, and of course Sebi has way more Toxic than the Licky Licky and Marin Baron have for the Hill Bell there. So maybe Sebi stays in here and goes for the Roost once again, as he did earlier when the Rotom came in. Who actually goes for the Hydro Pump and misses. So that's kind of that's a little bit of justice there in my opinion. It's a little bit of justice. Still unfortunate to see. Never want to see that, but I guess this one's kind of fair. However, I would be completely okay if there's nothing else like that in this game. Turn 6, there's been 2 paras and a hydro pump miss. So not what I'm looking for. Not what I'm looking for whatsoever. So maybe go back into the licky. Maybe throw off another hydro pump. Potentially Tangrowth comes in on a volt switch. That's actually a high probability. Also, Hydreigon could come in on a volt switch, and if it's Choice Scarf, then it can just U-turn out versus any potential threats. So he does go into the Tangrowth, and Marin makes a nice double into Victini there. Now able to throw off. Well, it depends on its set, really. If it's a physical like Choice Scarf or Choice Band, I would probably just go for U-turn. However, if it's like Choice Band or Life Orb or something like that, maybe just throw off a Fire type attack. Does just throw off the Toxic as the Gigalith comes in. So now, Sebby's going to very likely get a Stealth Rocks up here. However, I do think the Rotom Wash will hard switch in here and be prepared to just defog away any kind of hazard set up here. Or any kind of toxic potential damage. However, this Gigalith could be something like a Choice Band set and go straight for the Stone Edge here. Which would severely damage Rotom Wash. It would probably knock out the Victini. Along with Sand, it would always knock out Victini. However, Zygarde could potentially be a nice switch in here. However, Tangrowth does Sebby does have Tangrowth and could probably be a nice check to the Zygarde there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, for sure. So I do think the Mega Alakazam is Psychic. Okay, so he's got the Taunt on the Victini, so that's a nice play there. So Stone Edge would have been awesome. The Victini revealed Leftovers, so that's nice to see. Fat Victini here, probably a Mega Alakazam check. And maybe switches into Moltres pretty well, if it's specially defensive. And then could even switch into Celesteela pretty well. So this is a nice set. This is a really nice set for Victini here. So Stealth Rock's not being able to get put up is huge. Really helps the Victini and the Weavile. And of course, other mons like Licky and Rotom Wash don't appreciate taking 12%. And with Sand up too, taking additional residual damage is just problematic. So Sebby able to, Marin able to get the taunt off here. And now probably hard switches out into Zygarde or Rotom, potentially Licky or Cobalion. If you get in the Cobalion, then you're likely to get your own Stealth Rocks up, which could be nice, versus things like Moltres, Celesteela, and of course chipping down the Hydreigon upon switch-in. Repetitive switch-ins. So let's check and see here. Who's all here with us watching? Of course, they're not on the commentary, but who is watching this match? We've got Styx, Gypsy King, Arctic something, Eshank, and Thast. And of course, myself watching. And obviously the two players. So, back to the match here. Sebby was able to get his Victini in upon the Toxic here, and is taunted by the Victini here, and misses a Hurricane in the sand. So, I mean, that's still unfortunate. You never want to see a miss. Really, this game's kind of turning me off. But, yeah, the Victini goes for the taunt there, preventing the Moltres from roosting up or throwing off a Toxic of its own. And, however, this thing does miss its Hurricane. A little bit unfortunate. Very unfortunate, actually. Be interesting to see what he goes for here, being that he is taunted, can't roost up, and could potentially be paralyzed, which would be unfortunate. He could go into the Gigalith here. He could, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He could hard switch into the Hydreigon. So in comes the Hydreigon on the Volt Strike, actually. And what did it reveal? Did it reveal Leftovers? Let me just have a look at that. No, it did not. Sandstorm subsided. Okay, so that's cool. So, um, Marin's got the Victini in. Sebi's got the Hydreigon in. Sebi's obviously got the type advantage. However, the Victini, well, I guess it's revealed quite a bit of its moveset so far. And the Hydreigon just decides to U-turn out. Likely a Scarf variant, predicting the switch, just decides to U-turn out. And in comes the Licky Licky, and this thing's a problem. This thing's a problem. Likely wanting to throw off a Hill Bell or so. So Sebi decides to take advantage of this, able to position himself to get his Stealth Rocks up here. However, Marin positions himself in a fantastic position immediately, able to get his Stealth Rocks up now as well. But Sebi gets his Moltres in first, so fantastic so far. However, Cobalion could have Stone Edge, and Moltres does not appreciate that and is paralyzed, so it could potentially be outsped here and one-shotted. However, the Moltres is paralyzed. Once again, this is just disgusting. And it is hit with the Hailstorm. So the Rotom Wash comes in, does not take any damage thanks to the full pairs here. Absolutely disgusting so far. Turn 16. Still pretty close though. The game's still really, really close. Both players got Stealth Rocks up as well. It's getting tougher and tougher for Sebi to keep his rocks up, thanks to the Gigalith being poisoned and slowly residualed. And the Rotom Wash goes for the Hydro Pump and gets bopped with the Supersonic Sky Strike, which gets a critical hit. And the poison damage racking up. So it looks like this is going to end up being close to something like a double down here, as Marin does get the defog off here. Okay, and okay, I thought he was going to get a knockout. Moltres gets the roost off. Okay, that's weird. For some reason that didn't register in my head. He's got the roost off there, and he's not, well, he's in position to drop to, I guess, Hydro Pump here. So what's the play here? Hydro Pump will blow this thing back. Volt Switch would do quite a bit of damage. I'm not sure if it would knock out though. It could. I'm just not sure on how bulky Moltres is. I could do some calcs real quick, but I don't want to disturb the peace here. I'm having a good time watching this game. Reveals the Pain Split, so that's nice. As Sebi decides to roost again. Okay, but this toxic damage is racking up, and maybe this is the turn that the Rotom goes for the Hydro Pump. Goes for the Thunder Wave. Very, very nice play, Marin Baron. So the Rotom Wash drops to the toxic damage finally building up. And, well, I don't think Sebi has a switch into Weavile at this point. The Gigalith is broke down. The Moltres is paralyzed in 50%. And Celesteela, I guess, max HP, max defense could take on Weavile. Especially with something like a Z move, because it wouldn't take much from knockoff, and Icicle Crash is also neutral. I do think Icicle Crash is the play. Choice Banded Icicle Crash is really nice. Life Orb. Swords Dance could be really nice. Does go for the Icicle Crash. Does about 50% to the Moltres. Going to be able to easily 2-hit KO here. And we're about to see. Obviously, Sebi did not want his Celesteela 2-hit KO'd. Or like potentially flinch or anything like that. So he's going to just, I believe, sack off the Moltres. and I believe Marion just throws off another Icicle Crusher. But it will be interesting to see what happens here. Moltres was really nice. It sort of 1v1 Rotom in a weird sense. So no miss. This has been an ugly game, so I thought there may have been a miss there. Anyways, I believe you have to go into Celesteela or the Gigalith. I don't think you go Gigalith because Weavile could also have Taunt, although it's risky to taunt a Gigalith, super effective Pokemon in front of you. Celesteela is a pretty safe play, but it gives Marion Varian, pretty easy options to go into things like Victini or Cobalion. And if he's a Leech Seed, then Weavile could also taunt him from that as well. You could go Celesteela and Scout with Protect. However, Hydreigon could also be a Scarf variant. I'm not sure what 50% from Icicle Crash, 50% damage indicates versus the Moltres. It could be Choice Band, it could be not. So you could go Mega Alakazam here and click Hidden Power Fighting, expecting this thing to be Choice Banded. Just drop it right now. Assuming that you're speed creeping Weavile. I know things get scary in the match, especially if you do an aggressive speed creep. For instance, something like Weavile speed creeping Hydreigon, and you have Mega Alakazam speed creeping a Weavile that's speed creeping Hydreigon. That would be a tough one. So he does bring in the Gigalith. Values rocks, probably assuming, based on his own calcs, that this Weavile is choice banded and cannot knock out the Gigalith from this range, and was able to gather that knowledge from the damage on the Moltres. That was tough to say. However, if this thing is not choice banded, like I mentioned, it could very well have Taunt, just like the Victini did. However, if it does not, this will mean that Stealth Rocks are here to stay. So he brings in the Cobalion there, and it takes quite a bit of damage, as you can see on screen. And what had happened was he went for the Earthquake and got a critical hit. I believe assuming to be taunted potentially, and just went for the Earthquake, which also caught the Cobalion and the Victini upon switching in. However, I think rocks may have been more valuable than damage on Cobalion. I think rocks would have been more valuable. However, if he wasn't able to gauge the damage that Weavile did to the Moltres and, apply that to the rest of his team accurately, then I can understand why he just went for the Earthquake there, not risking the taunt. Otherwise, I think Stealth Rocks was the play, as Weavile and Victini do not appreciate that whatsoever. So Marion goes for the close combat as Sebi switches into the Victini here. I mean, the Victini. The Celesteela. And I think it revealed Life Orb damage. And it looks like a 2-hit KO as well. So that's something to think about. I think Marion just clicks close combat here. Potentially knocks out this Celesteela. Sebi decides to go into his Tangrowth. And the Cobalion goes down to the life orb damage. In comes the Weavile once again, though. This thing's a threat. It's basically picking up a knockout every time it comes in. However, if it is a Focus Sash variant, it will be broken on this turn no matter what, thanks to the Sandstorm. And also, if it's a choice band set, then the Mega Alakazam can revenge kill it. And I'm almost certain that Sebi has the hidden power fighting, not wanting to risk the Focus Blast. I wouldn't risk it. However, I guess it could be more beneficial versus things like Licky Licky, Weavile, and the Cobalion. It'll be interesting to see, though. I do assume it has some kind of psychic coverage. Of course, Shadow Ball for the Victini, and like I mentioned, fighting type coverage. Potentially Recover, Sub, Calm Mind even. It could run Focus Blast and Hidden Power Ice, so you always have something to immediately bop the Zygarde with, and it's never a threat to set up on a Psychic or something like that. Dragonette's into Extreme Speed, or Dragonette's into 1,000 Arrows or something like that. So I think this is going to be a 2-hit KO. Oh my god, the Weavile reveals that it is not locked in any way, and reveals the Swords Dance. Reveals the Swords Dance. So this is really scary. This forces in, if it lands, first of all, if you're Gigalith, I do believe you just set up your Stealth Rocks here, because damage on Weavile isn't important, as whatever you decide to bring in to revenge kill it has to one-shot it, or you're losing multiple Pokemon anyway. Because at this point, nothing survives a +2 Icicle Crash from Weavile. Celesteela drops, Hydreigon drops, probably has the Ice Shard if Hydreigon is Choice Scarf, and would likely risk it in all seriousness, thanks to being, resistant to the dark, and Draco Meteor not being accurate, as well as U-turn not killing. So I believe Icicle Crash or Knockoff is to play here. Does go for the Icicle Crash, is able to knock out the Gigalith. It'd be interesting to see what Sebi goes into here. I'm sure he's already thought that through, just thinking about clicking it now. This game is 4-4, and we're quite a bit of ways in, actually. So this is really, really fun. Really, really fun so far. 26 turns in, roughly a little over 20 minutes, maybe closer to 25 minutes, I'm not sure. But we are in this. This is a fun one. So the Weavile's got the Swords Dance up. Down goes the Gigalith. No rocks for either. No rocks for either for the remainder of the match. So Victini is a huge nuisance now. I don't think you risk Hydreigon. And I think it's going to come down to if Mega Alakazam can actually live an Ice Shard. But Tangrowth comes in, and I'm utterly confused right now, unless this thing is Yachi Berry and packing some kind of coverage. Gets flinched and couldn't move. Okay, so this is just bullshit. And Sebi had Brick Break, so that was bullshit. Would have knocked out the Weavile in one shot. Man, this is disgusting. Sebi's a good buddy of mine too, so it makes it that much more disgusting. No disrespect to Marion whatsoever. It's not his fault whatsoever. But yeah, that's really, really, really disgusting. It's just, I never wanted to see that. I'm just doing a damage calc real quick and seeing how much a +2 Weavile does to a Mega Alakazam with Ice Shard. Not wanting to risk Icicle Crash missing, he does go for the Ice Shard versus the Tangrowth as well here. So +2 ice shard from a non-lot life orb weavile. Potentially icicle plate though. So I'm gonna actually put that down as what he is. And I'm assuming that he is Jolly as well, which I believe I should because of the Hydreigon. I think that forces Jolly. And the Mega Alakazam able to survive the Ice Shard, but not able to pick up the knockout here on the Weavile. I think he needed a critical hit there, and I believe that's going to be game with the Marin Baron Weavile sweep here. However, Hydreigon could have enough bulk to survive an Ice Shard. However, he goes into the Celesteela, so this is going to be interesting. And yeah, Celesteela just drops to the Icicle Crash as well. And Sebi forfeits. So that's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, but such is Pokemon. Happens all the time. Really, really unfortunate though, because Sebi was, you know, the #1 contender. Not necessarily a heavy favorite in terms of skill, but in terms of, you know, record and performance this season, Sebi has been on his game. Whereas Marin, you know, only recently picked it up here towards the mid and end of the season, and now into playoffs as well. We have caught both of Marin's games so far, so that's really cool. Hopefully, we can catch the next one. What is it, semifinals? Yeah, for Gypsy's match. So yeah, for now, let me know what you guys thought about this match. Of course, the hacks 100% mattered. Nobody's going to dispute that. It's a very unfortunate, disgusting match by far. But of course, Weavile is a monster. Once it got a Source Dance up, it was really tough, especially if Sebi was lacking coverage on anything, which he wasn't. He did have coverage on Tangrowth. The Brick Break would have knocked this thing out, I'm pretty sure. And if it didn't knock out, then the Mega Alakazam would have knocked out with the Hidden Power. Well, I'm pretty sure it was Fire. I'm 100% that Hidden Power Fighting would have knocked out the Weavile. I'm almost certain, unless I missed something. It could have been a Chople Berry variant. Anyways, yeah, Marin Baron's going to be advancing to the finals now. I believe he is sitting at 8-6 now. 2-0 in the playoffs, which is what matters. So, good luck to him in the finals. We'll be looking forward to catching that one live, hopefully. Fantastic season to Sebi. Unfortunate game here, my man. And yeah, that's going to be it. So, this video will end right here if I don't catch, well, not necessarily. I guess if I don't catch the other semifinals live, I would just commentate it, like watch it for the first time and narrate it as I watch it for the very first time, and not having like a spoiler, like nobody spoiling it for me, so you guys get my reaction and things like that. But hopefully that's immediately right now. Otherwise, this is, you know, going to be the end of the battle or whatever, or end of the video. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.